Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Neeraj Kumar Parashari, Assistant Professor, Government Postgraduate College, Faridpur District, Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. The topic of my seminar presentation is Social and Economic Effects of Disasters. The word disasters is defined as a serious disruption of the functioning of a society, causing widespread human, material, or environmental losses which exceed the ability of the affected society to cope using its own resources. It is among the many shocks and surprises that human history has witnessed since its inception and is a product of hazards, which is considered a dangerous condition or events that threaten to or have a potential for causing injury to life or damage to property or the environment. Without hazards, there is no disaster. Hazards itself, on the basis of its origin, has been basically grouped in two broad headings: natural and unnatural. The first is closely related to meteorological, geological, or even biological aspects, while the second is human cause or advancement of technology. Another component of disaster is vulnerability, which is an extent a community, structure, service, or geographical area is likely to be damaged or disrupted by the impact of particular hazard on account of their nature, construction, and proximity to hazardous terrain or a disaster prone area. Thus, a disaster occurs when hazards and vulnerability meet. Vulnerable factors of disaster. Next point is that to some extent, social and economic conditions determine the vulnerability of a society. It has been observed that human losses in disasters in developing countries like India tend to be high when compared to developed countries where material losses predominate. While no country in the world is entirely safe, lack of capacity to limit the impact of hazards remain a major burden for developing countries. According to an estimate, 97% of natural disasters related deaths each every year in developing countries. In developed countries, the absolute cost of physical damage increases, but its relative cost decreases, and the number of lives lost also decline. The rest in cost of disasters reflect increase in the quality and the quantity of property and infrastructure. Wealthier countries can also afford increasingly sophisticated early warning and communication system, allowing people more time to move to safe places and resulting in fewer deaths and injury. This is the difference between developed countries and the developing countries. They have the better facility in the comparison of developing countries. Next point is affected areas. All disasters bring with themselves a lot of sufferings and pain to the people of the affected area. The accelerated and often uncontrolled growth of cities has contributed to the ecological transformation of their immediate surroundings. In addition, the lack of appropriate drainage system and sealing increase the volume and speed of rainfall. Recent studies have highlighted that a poor understanding by decision makers of seismic related risk and tendency of some builders to use cheapest designs and construction materials increase the risk during catastrophic earthquakes. As to the unnatural disaster, which has a much larger spectrum, includes epidemics, industrial accidents, communal violence, terrorism, nuclear weapons, and biological bombs, etc. They cause mainly to the unhealthy society, social, economic, and environmental conditions. Next point is large-scale economic effects. Traditionally, it was the Pacific region that was supposed to be prone to tsunami, which usually occurs because of the earthquakes on the ocean floors 70 kilometers deep, but in the case of recent tsunami, the deep was just 30 kilometers and that too close to the Asian landmass. There are large parts of the earth where the potential hazards are likely to occur and the problems may result of an event. India is highly prone to almost all the disasters. Out of 35 states and union territories in our India, 25 are officially considered disaster prone. It's a very dangerous and serious matter. More than half the country is in seismically active zone. More than half. Conclusion: every natural disaster to the degree of its severity makes damages to the economic structure of the affected areas, which has a direct bearing on population of the region, with the destruction of health, education, infrastructure, and the personnel. Death is disablement or migration of a key social actors. Social development becomes limited, leading to an erosion of social capital. And in addition to the loss of social assets, there are many examples of disasters, events destroying the gains of the health, sanitation, drinking water, housing, and education sectors that underpin social development. The Kutch Bhuj earthquake in 2001 completely damaged district hospital, 992 primary schools, and 18 secondary schools too. The cyclone that hit Odisha in 1999 led to the contamination of drinking water wells and damaged many schools in the direct impact of single event. Thank you. It's my presentation.